What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Grab a seat. The fire is already warm. Let's talk about some storytelling. Gather round the cosmic campfire. So, this week's been kind of fun. Things have leveled out. I feel pretty, I don't know, pretty productive. My kids are doing home virtual school, I guess. So, everything they're doing is through the computers, through school, and that's been handled pretty well by our school. We use like a KIP charter school, and things went pretty well with that. They issued everybody Chromebooks, and they all have like their own student emails. And to me, like my first recognition of it is kind of like they need to remember their email address now the way that we had to remember our like ID number. My mom used to write us a check every I think it was like every other Friday or whatever. She would write us a check and she had it perfectly calculated out how many meals that would buy if we didn't miss any days and stuff. So, she would write us a check every other Friday. We knew exactly what we were getting. But when you put the check into your lunch account, you had to give them your ID number, and so I had mine memorized because of that and several other things. But I remember having my mom would end up remembering my ID number because she wrote this check every other week. So it became routine for us, and so that's kind of how I see these emails that these kids have now. They needed to sign into everything to they basically that's how they sign their homework, and um I guess that kind of brings this other thing up too. Like, I was raised in a very like Pentecostal religious household, and so there was always this thing about the mark of the beast and this, that, and the other, and you always hear all the stuff about government conspiracies, where all the prison numbers, like being referred to as a number lost in the system. I'm sure that gets tied up somewhere in this conversation about, oh, well, kids are just becoming their email address. But I feel like our society's already moved in that direction with as significant as like Google and Apple and social media companies have become in our lives. Like Amazon, like I can sign into so many different things using Google or Amazon that really those are my IDs. Whatever I'm known as on Google, that is kind of who I am at this point. The virtual world is overflowing into the real world in a very real sense, and that doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people worry about that. They worry about privacy and data and information, and well, I think there's a lot of great ethical concerns and debates about all of that. Me personally, like I see our loss of privacy and data as progress forward, and something that I don't know that we'll actually value as much in the future as we do right now. And maybe it's not a hill worth dying on, but I understand people's concerns, and I think, you know, those need to be acknowledged. So, yes, I understand my kids are becoming email addresses, but that's okay with me because it's very convenient. And hey, it's easier than having to name them yourself, I guess. This week my wife got into Cobra Kai. Apparently, I guess they put this on Netflix. This is something, feel free feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I remember Cobra Kai starting as a YouTube original, and now it's on Netflix. So I don't know what's going on with that. Is YouTube canceling their original series, and this is the new home for it, or did Netflix buy it from YouTube? I'm not really sure, but it popped up on Netflix. The other thing is, I know there's like 2 seasons of this show or something. Maybe even 3 seasons now. I don't know how many are on Netflix, but my watched them all in like 2 days, so it can't be that many. Um, Yeah, and so, you know, I didn't really watch it myself. I was there when she watched a lot of it though, and so I don't know. I picked up some of it from osmosis, I guess, and it was cool. I thought there was some really neat elements of how they kind of like brought us back to the 80s. Um, for instance, well, let me give this disclaimer. I was never huge into Karate Kid. I thought it was a cool movie. I never owned it myself, so I didn't watch it, a million times like a lot of other kids my age. So I never had the same level of attachment for it. It's a really cool movie. I did enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I've seen the second one. If there's any more than that, I have no clue. But I was never like super steeped in Karate Kid. So that's why I had heard when Cobra Kai came out, I heard a lot of people review it. They were super excited about it because it's a Karate Kid thing, and all the reviews came out really well. So it's something I've kind of wanted to watch, but it doesn't top my list because it's not a franchise that I'm already bought into. One of the things that I think is really cool about Cobra Kai is the way that they use the background music and the style and the editing, the way that it's filmed and recorded. Everything brings you into the 80s, but with this really cool sense of authenticity that really admires the characters. Basically, what I got from the story is that you have two like middle-aged men that are kind of realizing that they're not necessarily happy with who they've become, and they feel like I think one of them, his defining moment I guess in some way both of the defining moment of both of their lives was kind of this karate tournament, but I also think they both don't want to be defined by that moment. Like that's not possibly the best of who they had to offer. And so they're having like this midlife crisis, and they're trying to kind of fix who they've become because of some minor event at some point in their youth. I don't know. It's actually a really cool story. Like whenever I watch just like scenes alone, the little bit I'm getting here and there is enough to keep me connected and invested. The acting is good. I like the way that it feels like they really are like in a small town like that and everything, like in California or whatever you call that subculture, I guess. I don't know. I think if you told me that there was like these middle-aged men opening these dojos and training these kids in karate and stuff, like it sounds crazy, but it actually like works really well in this show. It kind of reminds me of Weeds. Like Weeds is the craziest concept in the world until you see it, and it just really seems normal. It feels just like really down to earth and average. And so, I guess I'm kind of getting away from the point here, but I just thought it was really cool in the storytelling. Because of the way they frame the environment and the world that these characters inhabit, they get away with a lot of things that we were okay with as a society in the 80s, but that we're not today. But it doesn't feel like they're rejecting, I guess it doesn't feel like they're stepping outside the bounds of like PC culture, because they kind of have encapsulated all of this in like the 80s. So I think that's like a visual storytelling thing. I thought it was really interesting. I thought I would bring it up. I'm sure everybody else has already watched Cobra Kai, but if you haven't, it's on Netflix now, so really no excuse not to. It's really good stuff, and that's coming from somebody that never even really got into the Karate Kid thing. So, Cosmic Campfire. I've been thinking about everything that I've been kind of stewing on over the first two episodes. And so I think I kind of have a framework at this point and have a lot of questions that I want to reach out to the audience to help answer, as well as kind of update you on where I'm at with this project. So, one thing that I've figured out is I was missing, I guess for lack of a better term, a MacGuffin. I didn't have a reason for this character to exist, therefore this character was not existing. So I decided, hey, let me create this item. And it became pretty obvious at that point it should be this cosmic campfire. There was this anime on Cartoon Network at some point. I had a friend that got really into it. I really enjoyed it, but not quite to the level, I guess, that he was at. Either way, it's called. I think it was called Outlaw Star. They had these grappling ships. It was cool stuff, like very space opera esque, and like they were lining up these galactic ley lines to try to find like I don't know. They were just after something. I'm sure it turned out to be a MacGuffin that like it meant nothing, but it was the journey to get it. The point being, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I don't know what the cosmic campfire does exactly at this point. To me, it's not nearly as important as getting the characters to move and go do something. But that's what I came up with. Is there's a legend in this universe that somewhere there's this cosmic campfire, and I don't know what it does, but whenever they get to it, it won't matter because it'll be so far away. And I think, obviously the universe is, it's full of danger and adventure, but I need a catalyst for that adventure. So, what's the inciting incident? What is the purpose? What does the cosmic campfire do? And why does this character want to get to it or acquire it? And so, I've also kind of defined what this cowboy is. So, here's what I'm thinking: the cowboy is a tough guy. He respects everyone, but he trusts no one. Because out on the frontier, you never know what danger lurks around every corner. He can be cold and distant, but that is only because he would rather be safe than sorry. So that's my thoughts on the cowboy is that a cowboy is somebody who lives within the letter of the law, but is willing to step outside of the law to protect what is his. He's somebody that has respect for everyone. Like he's not going to step out of line for no reason, but at the same time, he doesn't trust anybody, until they've truly earned his trust. So that's what I'm thinking in this cowboy character. He's going to be our main character. He's going to be out there in the universe trying to find this cosmic campfire. I just need to figure out why he wants it. The other thing is, obviously, to balance this character, I need somebody, I need a sidekick that's able to make him likable, somebody that is likable themselves, and their biggest fault being they're too close to the problem, they're too close to the cowboy. They believe anything and they believe in him to a fault. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. There is a good sidekick. And then the other thing we need is a character to like give information and data. Exposition, who is this outsider that's learning information? Who is the audience learning this? Who is the audience learning through? And so there, I'm thinking we need like an onboard computer, an OS, an Android, some kind of R2D2 C3PO situation is what I'm thinking. A robot that can travel with them on these adventures that's helpful in some way, but is also there to help serve as the audience for why do we need to learn the things that we learn. So, and a conduit for us to learn those things through. So those are the big questions I have. Like I said, we're looking for the cosmic campfire, our captain, our cowboy, our go-getter. He's a rough and a tough guy, respectful, but he doesn't trust anyone. And so what I need to figure out this week is who is this sidekick that makes him likable, and how does the audience get information? How do they learn and how do they acquire information about this world? And most importantly, what is the cosmic campfire itself? What does it do? how do they get there, and what is the point of getting there. So that's the information I want to know. Help me out. Reach out to me on social media. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter under New Guy, Nuexguy. Depending on where you're listening to this, you can probably also find that in the show notes somewhere. So, and if you could, I'm available, or I guess this podcast is searchable on all the major platforms. So share this with anybody you can. Let them know, what I'm doing here with storytelling and trying to learn and grow as a group. So, yeah, if you could like and share, rate, review. I hear Apple is, the king of podcasts. So, of course, good numbers there means I'm easier to find, which means better discoverability, which means more listeners, which means a lot. So if you have a little bit of time, go and rate and review and share and let everybody know what's going on over here, because I think this is slowly but surely growing and turning into something, and I hope to continue to build out that platform. So I'd love to hear from anybody that is listening. Reach out to me, like I said, on social media, New Guy, Nuexguy. Until next time, I'll keep the fire warm.